Hello and good morning. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Podcast here at GrainFox. I'm your host, Demian Gallego. Today is Thursday, March 13, 2025, and I'm very happy to welcome Dan Basse from our friends at AgResource. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Very well. It was good seeing you last week in Edmonton, Damien, and all good. And yeah, it's as well as how should I say it? The conference season is slowing down, so we have more time now to focus on markets and the craziness that the world is providing.
For sure, and getting ready for summer as well. So, Dan, yeah, precisely. Him and I met last week at the Grains Conference in Canada. In Edmonton, sorry, and where we both gave some presentations and some numbers. The conference was presented by the Canela Council of Canada and the Grains Council of Canada as well. So, Dan, what were your impressions in general about the conference? The tariff situation was evolving as we were during the event, but in general, give me your impressions of interesting stuff you saw last week.
Well, let me first start out as an American coming to a Canadian conference. I'm glad there was no tomatoes thrown. So that's the first thing. Everybody was very welcoming. It was a joy to be there, and they all understood that us Americans really can't control what's happening in Washington. So thank you, Canadians, for that. Uh, Beyond that, I thought the mood of the conference was very anxious. I think farmers were concerned about the tariffs and their futures. I think the U.S. Canadian relationship has been strong for decades, and there's now cracks in that, and they were trying to understand the way forward. In the U.S., we've elected a new politician who took office on the 20th of January. You're electing a new politician there in Canada. All of that uncertainty kind of spread into it also. But the most important thing that I got from it was canola. I mean, how does it fit into the U.S. biofuel situation? How does it fit into world trade? Can the Canadians, if there's a tariff 25% against Canadian goods, can they pivot to another country? The hope was, of course, China, and then, of course, that was dashed on the weekend, giving the canola market a little more downside potential. So, it's a very uncertain time. But we all say that in the ag markets, price direction is made up of weather and policy. Right now, policy is trumping weather. Forgive the pun, but that's kind of where we find ourselves here today.
Right on, yeah. And it was interesting how the developments happening as you and I a week ago precisely were giving our presentations. The agreement came to postpone the tariffs with Canada and Mexico in real time. And speaking of politics and politicians, Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister of Canada, was the one that closed the convention. Any impressions take away from his chat, from his comments?
Well, I wish Mr. Harper would run again. I really, really like him. I mean, he is a leader. I think as Canada thinks about leadership, he is one that sticks in my mind for his 12 years that he was there in Canada. So forgive me. I really thought he did a great job. I thought he highlighted the upcoming elections very well. I thought that he put Canada in a place of let's be calm, let's work through this, let's negotiate, let's talk, let's get to the table and do what America and Canada does best, which is find a way forward. And so I do believe Trump is posturing. I don't think any tariffs against Canada or Mexico would be long lived. I only say that because of our importance in terms of having a relationship. I don't think there's any chance that Trump really believes that Canada can be the 51st state. So I want to be on record saying that is not going to happen. Nonetheless, it's part of his negotiating tactic going forward.
Right on. So pretty good comments there, Dan. Just to wrap it up, I would just want to ask you, what kind of advice would you give our subscribers, our audience, producers in general, in the next month, 2 months or so, as instability, uncertainty, and coming back? What would be your 2 cents to tell them to kind of ease them, if you will?
Yeah. So as we look at markets, we think the word that defines where we're going to be going is turbulence. I think there's going to be a lot of turbulence in the market. Maybe volatility is a second word that would come to mind. With that, farmers will have opportunities both in the U.S. and Canada to make sales at hopefully profitable levels. We've gone back and looked at, summer growing season. There's always a weather scare or something that provides, rallies to the upside. So what I want you to do is be aware of your margin, be aware of your opportunity, and then when it comes to do what you need to do, which in terms of at least getting some of the anxiety lowered, make some sales, get something on the books. This is a year about just getting to the next. In other words, we need to get past this year and see the rainbow maybe that's on the other side. Longer term, I still think things like sustainable aviation fuel, a lot of biofuel policies around the world, including Indonesia and even the United States, do offer opportunities for the Canadians and the Americans. And again, I know there's turbulence today. Let's just, when we have rallies due to summer weather, let's just reward the rally and kind of, go from there, if that makes any sense. So I just want Canadian farmers to think about their futures. And this is a year that making some money or a little bit of money is the way to think about things.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your comments there, Dan. Just a reminder to our audience, I did say the date was Thursday, March 13th, but this is being released tomorrow, so it will be the 14th. Thank you so much for your time, Dan. I appreciate it, and hope to see you soon again here at the podcast.